Okay, let's jump right into this. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're unpacking a massive paradigm shift in Ruff version 0.16.0. Look, if you write Python, whether you're training the next massive AI model or just writing a quick web scraper, you probably already know Ruff. It's that blazingly fast linter and formatter written in Rust. But this July 2026 update, it completely changes how we're going to experience out-of-the-box linting. It's literally a reimagining of what a default setup should actually catch.
So we've got a clear roadmap for today. We're going to cover the overarching paradigm shift, exactly how the default rules are expanding, some huge upgrades to your CI workflows, a few really polished feature refinements, and finally, and maybe most importantly, how you can safely upgrade your legacy code bases.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, the v0.16.0 paradigm shift.
This is without a doubt the most significant change to Ruff's default configuration since its first stable release. We are moving away from a basic, lightweight linter and stepping up to an uncompromising, strict production standard. As the release notes actually put it, the default set now aligns closer to a strict production baseline. And the core philosophy here, it's all about reducing friction. In the past, teams had to manage these bloated, massive custom config files just to catch severe issues, right? The Ruff team basically realized that the gap between all the rules they offered and the ones enabled by default was just getting way too wide. So they flipped the script. Now it's designed to surface critical problems automatically, way before they ever hit production.
Moving on to Section 2, let's talk about expanding those default rules.
So, the most disruptive part of this whole update is just the sheer volume of newly activated rules. 413. I mean, that is a staggering jump. Ruff went from enabling just 59 rules by default all the way up to 413. To put that into perspective, there are 968 total rules available in Ruff right now. So, by essentially tripling the default rule set out of nowhere, running a simple Ruff check on a brand new project is going to give you a radically more comprehensive code review instantly.
But listen, this isn't just about throwing a bunch of random rules at you to be annoying. It's about throwing the right rules at you. This massive expansion specifically targets severe syntax and immediate runtime errors. You know, the stuff that will actually break your application, and it catches them with zero configuration required. But here's the really brilliant part. While they added hundreds of rules, they also deliberately dropped 18 overly opinionated style rules from the default set, things like E401 and F403. So what does that mean for you? It means a lot less nagging about subjective style choices and a laser focus on genuine bugs. Ultimately, you're just not going to need those huge custom extend select lists in your pyproject.toml files anymore.
Okay, Section 3, upgrading developer and CI workflows.
Because at the end of the day, it's not just about what Ruff catches, right? It's about how it actually reports those issues to you when you're reviewing pull requests. The difference here is practically night and day. Think about the old way. If formatting failed in CI, you were left digging through endless plain text logs, trying to hunt down exactly which file and line was messed up. Not fun. Now, the format-check command natively supports GitHub and GitLab output formats. That means your CI pipeline is going to render inline annotations directly on your pull requests. You see exactly where the unformatted code is, right inside your UI. It is an absolute game changer for quality of life.
And speaking of workflow integrations, we have to touch on a really crucial JSON output fix. Older versions of Ruff used to just default to an empty string or even row 1, column 1 if location data was missing. But in v0.16.0, these fields can actually return null. Why is that a big deal? Well, returning null prevents downstreamed parsers in your IDE from misinterpreting missing data as actual file positions. Basically, it completely stops your editor from randomly jumping to the very first line of a file for literally no reason.
Let's dive into Section 4, key feature refinements. So, beyond those big headline features, the Ruff team went in and stabilized several specific rules just to cut down on false positives. For example, Rule FA102 now strictly validates additional PEP 585 APIs like the ones from collections.abc. For the security rule S310, Ruff now resolves local string literal bindings, which means it finally stops aggressively flagging URLs that are perfectly safe. Oh, and the blind except rule BLE001, it's now smartly suppressed when you're just using non-critical logging methods. The whole theme here is reducing the noise so you only see the alerts that truly demand your attention.
Here is another fantastic refinement that I absolutely love. Ruff now automatically formats Python code blocks embedded inside Markdown files completely by default. If you write documentation, and hopefully we all do, This is huge. It even intelligently handles different types of blocks. It treats PyI blocks as stubs and PyCon blocks as REPL sessions. Honestly, your README files are about to look incredibly clean.
And you know, for those times when you really do just need to tell the linter to look the other way, this release adds support for inline Ruff ignore comments. You can stick these right at the ends of your lines or on the line right before a diagnostic, exactly like traditional NOCA comments. It just gives you an explicit, highly readable way to suppress a specific error without turning the whole rule off.
All right, let's wrap things up with Section 5, How to Upgrade Safely.
Okay, so jumping from 59 defaults up to 413, yeah, that is going to cause some noise, especially if you're working in a legacy codebase. So here is your actionable migration plan. Step 1, run a baseline Ruff check dot and Ruff format -check on your local machine first, before you let CI get its hands on it. Step 2, carefully review the new violations surfaced by those 413 defaults. Seriously, you might find a whole bunch of hidden bugs you didn't even know existed. But step 3, if the noise is just completely overwhelming and it's blocking your team's workflow, you can totally revert back to the old baseline.
And to do that, you're going to use this exact configuration as your escape hatch. If you just add this snippet to your pyproject.toml file, setting select to just E4, E7, E9, and F, you're explicitly telling Ruff to go back to that old 59 rule baseline. It's basically the perfect safety net for teams who want to upgrade their Ruff version to get the performance benefits and bug fixes, but just aren't quite ready to tackle hundreds of new, strict linting rules on day one.
Which really brings us to our final thought for this explainer. The Python ecosystem is moving incredibly fast right now, especially with AI and rapid development cycles. Having a strict, automated tool like Ruff running point ensures your code stays robust and scalable. So, here's my challenge to you. Take 5 minutes today, update to Ruff v0.16.0 with zero configuration, and just see what it finds. Is your code base ready for the new strict baseline? Try it out. You might just be surprised by the hidden bugs it uncovers. Thanks so much for joining me, and as always, happy linting.